VOCE or Advanced Ensemble. There's a few things, a few policies that you may already know, a lot of big stuff that's new though. So when it comes to the safety of your children, I'm kind of a crazy lunatic about it, and I really, really want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable knowing that when they are with me, when they are with anything with VOCE, that they are loved and protected. We are all over this community, and now you've seen with the Advanced Ensemble, we are also going to be all over the United States and potentially internationally in the future. Policies on if you're going to be absent. If you know that you're not going to be here, if your child does, it's your child is going to start adulting a little bit with this. If they know that they can't be there for one reason or another, on the sign-in sheets, if they can find that date and write out, so we know that they're not going to be there. It helps me plan my lessons, because if I know that certain voices or whatever, if an entire section is out on this piece of music, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. It also, however, is if we didn't know that you weren't going to be there, we try to call. If we don't know that your child is not coming, we might end up calling you to be like, hey, where's your kid? And it has happened with groups that I've worked with before, that there was a car accident, and because of the phone call, we were able to figure out and get parents connected, because that was what kept them from coming. So we just want to make sure that everyone's small human is accounted for, and that you guys, especially if you're carpooling and all of that, that's taken care of. If, oops, I forgot to call, we're going to call you, all right? If you forgot to call or text, our office phone is a cell phone. So it's really great. Just shoot us a text. Wendy will get it, and she can mark it in there so we know what's going on. Singer safety at rehearsals and at outside events. When they come to me, or us, I should say, when they come to us, they're going to sign in and they're going to sign out. Now, on a regular rehearsal day, they sign in, and when they're leaving, they don't leave without an adult walking out with them, all right? There's going to be a few things that are changing with regard to our the use of the space and all of that, but what we're working with is we just don't want kids running out playing in traffic. So if we're kind of holding them hostage and you're wondering why, it's because there isn't an adult that is physically present right this second to walk a group out. And so just know, if you want to come in to get them, by all means, please do. But we're not trying to hold you up. We're just trying to make sure, especially daylight savings, there are groups that come in right after us on those other days, and they will fly around that corner like nobody's business. So I just want to keep all your humans safe. Again, parking lot safety, please be careful. If we cannot park in this area, park in the parking spots while you're waiting for your kids. If there are things that we need to know about for safety, please share that with us. That's the public school teacher in me. If there is somebody that's not supposed to have access, or somebody that is coming that we don't know who they are because we maybe have never seen them before, if you could just not give the moms a big old heart attack, and if you could just let us know ahead of time. We're not trying to be all up in your business. We just, that's the public school teacher in me, okay? So we talked, this is my spirit animal, on Quick Queen. We've talked to the kids about rehearsal etiquette and making sure that they are using the restrooms before they come into rehearsal. I have an hour-and-a-half lesson with them, and I want to make every minute count. And it is so much more than banging out pitches, all right? We are not just learning notes here. There is so much that goes into our rehearsals. And so I want them to have every bit of that voice lesson that's there. You wouldn't want to pay for a private voice lesson and spend 5 minutes of it in the restroom. You want to make sure that you're getting your full hour-and-a-half of rehearsal in here. So I tell them to please use the restroom before they come to rehearsal. Am I going to let them go to the bathroom? Absolutely, yes, but let's just be thinking. Don't forget to sign in and get your materials before rehearsal, all right? I know all of your friends are here. It's super fun, but please get your things and be ready for us to get started. If you do need to leave for any reason, please be quiet and discreet. No cell phones in rehearsal. So all of their accoutrement is going to remain out here. No purses, no nothing. The only thing, we are growing like weeds, and there is just not enough space for you and your backpack and your stuffed animal and your just whatever, all of your things. So it's real easy just to have your music, your pencil, and your water bottle, and leave all your stuff out here. And that way cell phones are not a distraction to anyone around you, or you into being distracted by your Snapchat. Not talking with others while the other other sections are working, and to please be careful with the materials and the space that we are using. So that's the rehearsal etiquette that we have gone through with them. They are just about the sweetest people. We're not going to have any problems with it, but just that's what we've been doing. Volunteering. We absolutely need volunteers in order to make a lot of this stuff happen. This organization has grown exponentially way faster than I thought it was going to, which is amazing. And it's because you guys are so excited about what your kids are getting, which is awesome. But what that does is that leads us to more opportunities and leads us to needing a little bit more assistance. So there are rehearsal assistants. I promise not to make you sing, but that's your ticket into rehearsal. It's the best volunteer job ever because you get to sit and listen to what their lessons are. You get to be in here, and basically what you are is another adult for a just-in-case situation. Or, I forgot this beat, or there's no music up here, so-and-so doesn't have their music, Wendy! And she'll hand you the music, and we'll make sure so that way I'm not running back and forth. It just streamlines the process of, oh, my pencil broke, here's another one. That's what that does. So rehearsal assistants, but other than our rehearsal assistants, we want our rehearsals to be closed. So that way there's not a constant in and out, there's not, if you're here as a rehearsal assistant, we really would love for you to focus your time and energy on what's going on up here. You are more than welcome to see shenanigans happening over there and be like, no, and do that, because if I'm working over here, that's what rehearsal assistants are for, okay? So if you're in here, we would love for you to be kind of plugged into what we're doing. Events committees, we have a number of events that are happening this year. Again, lots of fundraising that we're trying to do so that way your kids can afford this trip. I realized when I saw all of that, I kind of choked for a minute and went, but it's okay because we're going to be carrying them in on an elephant. Like they get everything that there is to get about Disney on this trip, and there will be no hidden costs. So if you are interested in serving as an event, as part of the committee or a chair, we would love your help. Fundraising leaders or volunteers, and we'll talk again about fundraising and hospitality. Just making sure that if we're, for our concerts, we give the kids a snack supper. I'll need a few parents to kind of help coordinate that. Do you have to run out and buy everything? No. I just need for you to be a point person to make sure that when the grapes get here that you're going to take the grapes. That kind of thing. All right? So for our fundraisers, there is one a month. All right? And there's a couple of months where there might be more than one a month. And I was approached with some other fundraisers that I think are going to make some good money for your kids. It is not required that you fundraise. And if you are not in the advanced ensemble, if your kid is in Primo, I would suggest starting now. I've set up your fundraising accounts so that it is for your child, all right? And it will stay with your child as long as your child is with VOCE. If your child, ages out and a sibling is there the following year, that will transfer into your sibling account. It's your money. You raised it. You should be able to use it when you need it, okay? So what we do is 10% of whatever you bring in will go into a separate account. It does not pay bills. It does not turn the lights on. It does not buy music. It does none of that. All it does is help support the kids. So if we have an event and I want to get an inflatable or a slide or I want to take them to this kind of thing, or I want to bring in a special guest, that's the kind of money that's going to go with it. So little things that are completely going to support all of the singers. That's what that 10% goes to. 90% of it will go into your singer account. All right, 90% of what you bring in for that fundraising. If you make, $10 on one thing, the 10% goes here, the 90 goes over here, and it will accrue throughout the year. What you can do is, at the end of the year, you can either request a tuition reimbursement. You've paid tuition already. If you're thinking, we're not going on tour and we could really use that money right now, you put in that work, request a tuition reimbursement, and that money will come back to you, but only in that year. All right, so it's not like you'll be able to transfer it because of banking and books and all of that stuff. If you get a tuition reimbursement for the previous year, that works. When you carry it over to the next year, that next year starts over again. Your money follows you, and it can also go for tour. It can go for those kinds of things. But you can't ask for like 4 years of tuition reimbursement once does that make sense? Okay, too many words, sorry. As you are fundraising, the struggle that we did have, and I understand the plight. I've got 3 kids too, and we do a lot of travel, we do a lot of stuff that goes into this. If the money is not in your fundraising tour or your singer account at the time that your payment is due, you cannot rely on fundraising to pay that bill. Does that make sense? If you only have $100 in your touring account and your bill is due, your $325 is due on the 17th, by all means, I will give Carrie Anderson your $100 out of there, and then you just have $275 left to pay. But we can't go, well, I wanted to pay the whole thing off at such and such a time, and I'm going to wait for it to accrue. It can't happen like that because these payments have got to be in. All right? So just know when a fundraiser happens, we will keep the spreadsheet going. You will know how much is in your singer account. But just know that it can't be, I'll wait and pay everything at the end when my singer account is full. Yes? Questions about that? No? Awesome. All right, so like I said, tour payments, tour reimbursement, tuition reimbursement, or you can roll it over. For touring, my plan is to go on a 4-year cycle. My hope is a 4-year cycle. Regional, so we went to New Orleans. That was our first. That doesn't count. That just is, please, let's make it home. And we did. It was amazing. And so the 4-year cycle goes like this. Regional, so we're in the Southeast. We're at Disney. National, somewhere where we are going further away, we are going to need to fly on an airplane or something like that, okay? Another regional, someplace in the Southeast. International is our 4th year. So you can think fundraising, $2,000 for Disney. Wow, my kid's a musical theater kid. They have to do that. Or my kid is interested in that. I really want him to go. Or if your child is in primo and you're thinking, okay, well, by the time they get to this one, maybe we aren't interested, but by gosh, we'll go across the pond. You know, you can be saving your money in your touring account for that kind of a thing. Yes? Good? Awesome. And we are planning tours 2 years out now. So I already know what we're doing next year, and I'm not going to tell you. So our VOCE staff, Lori Van Linton, founding artistic director. Shirley, hopefully y'all have met me. This is Wendy Thompson. Basically, probably from now on, this is who you're going to wind up doing a lot of talking with. Because
so sorry.
At this point, stop it. At this point, whenever I see you, I'm going to be with your children. And what I needed was somebody who could answer all of the very, very good and very legitimate questions, but not while I was trying to teach your kids. So Wendy, when you call the VOCE phone or text it, Wendy's got it. When you email Sing Augusta, that's Wendy. That's answering that. So if she doesn't know the answer to something, if you come in and she doesn't know, she will get back with you. She will stop me and hold me down and ask that question, and she will get back with you if she doesn't know the answer. 11 times out of 10, she knows the answer though. So that's good. Karina Hedgecock is here somewhere. There she is. She is our major events coordinator. I call her my honor choir guru. She's fabulous. You'll hear from her quite a few times this year. Cindy Wilkinson is our advanced ensemble accompanist, and Lisa Roberts is our primo accompanist. So here's your sort of your VOCE staff. This year, you may have gotten an email from me this morning, or I should say from Class Tag. I've trying something new. Balloons worked for some people, didn't work for others. Remind makes some people crazy, some people others. I wanted something that worked for you the way that you wanted it to work for you, but was not going to annoy you with every tiny little detail. So what I like about Class Tag, and forgive me, I'm still trying to, it was early this morning when I was making sure that all this was working right. What Class Tag will do is it works kind of like what I feel like my family planning calendar that I use online does. It will allow for me to put activities that are going on, information. It let me upload documents. So one of the activities is our first fundraiser. So you can go and look, and that's the program ads and business partnerships. Remind me to talk about that, because that's good money coming your way for that one. If there is fundraising, those documents can be uploaded there. So if you didn't make it to that rehearsal, you can click print and it's right there ready for you. It will send you text messages if you want it to send you text messages. It will send you emails if you want it to send you emails. It will also give you a week at a time if you sign up for it that way, or you can set it up to where it will say, this is what's going on this week with VOCE. Wendy's going to talk with you a minute because I set it all up and I said your job today is to be annoyed by class tag so you can tell the parents how to make it work.
And I can honestly say I was annoyed by class tag, but mostly because my day did not turn out the way it was. And for those of you who were with us last year and those who are new to us, I will go back on communication. We have had some hiccups. Like Lori said earlier on, this organization grew way faster than ever expected. So there's been a lot of Lori trying to handle everything while teaching and having little bits of windows to be able to communicate, and I'm trying to take some stuff over. So we are still in a little bit of a transition period. Thank you for your patience. We are steps closer to getting things done, and having rehearsal assistants in here who can kind of meet those needs will help me to be able to sit out there and actually work on what I came here to work on and not be like, you want what, from where? So we're just, thank you for your patience, continue to work with us. On class tag, it looks a little different like most apps when you're using it either from your computer or laptop or if you're using it from an app. And I don't know if many of you have noticed this. If you haven't transitioned from one operating system on a phone to another, like an Android versus iOS, they look different and they function differently depending on the phone that you may have. So for you to go, well, this looks like so-and-so and so-and-so, try to get me to explain it, and if you're on one device and I'm on another, it may cause a little more confusion. So I do recommend, if you can, take a couple minutes and just play around with it. On your app, on your phone, the little tray at the bottom is where you have your directional icons, like your home or a calendar or activities. And on here, they're called home, activities, directory, photos, and marketplace. So you kind of have to look around a little bit and figure out where things are. So if you get a notice and you go to continue reading it, it tells me what's there, but then if I want to see all these wonderful documents that Lori's talking about, I have to go to the activities because it's loading it like it's a to-do. And so you're able to actually pull that up, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, there's the fundraising paperwork. You can just pull that up and print it to whatever printer. If you're on your laptop, and I don't know if this will connect over here real quick. Let's just see. Maybe. No signal. It's not reading my thing. Can it? It's searching. At any rate, on your laptop, if you get an email and you're checking it on your home computer, you'll open the link and it'll take you to the class tag sign-in page. And I don't know how much, if any of this you can see, but down along the left-hand side are those tabs: home, activities, directory, photos. There's a little more on here. And as with most anything, when you pull it up on a computer, it looks vastly different. So yes, it will be slightly frustrating at first. And then for me, with so many things coming at me from so many different directions, at first might take me 6 months. Some of us are more technologically advanced than others. Hand it to your teenager. Problem solved. You'll figure it out. But at any rate, the class tag, I can see where it's going to work well. Bloom's did not like a lot of operating systems at all. It did not play well with others, so we abandoned that.
It allows also for you to sign up as a volunteer for certain things. So what I will do is I will upload I will add all of our rehearsals as activities, and I will request 2 volunteers. It gives you the opportunity to sign up for it just like that. When we need grapes for this and apples for that and water for that, it gives us the opportunity, and you can respond right there and sign up for it there. I uploaded your information, and I've got a list, a printout of the students and the parent emails. Some of you have given me 2. There were a few that popped up this morning that said that they were not right emails. So if you didn't get something from class tag, see me, so that way we can make sure that we've got all the stuff correct. Yeah.
Yeah. something, oh, like for example, on here, Lori put out a need for rehearsal assistants for today's rehearsal. And that kind of going back to what we were talking about, we would prefer to only have a maximum of 2 parents in advanced ensemble and primo, because we have more kids in here at one time, but only if you've signed up. It just helps keep confusion down. But then we know, okay, I either have some work that I can get done or I won't have any help. So I kind of, when the kids walk out to use the restroom, yeah, we're in a safe place, but I would rather somebody monitor that and go, and 15 minutes later, oops, nobody has come back. What are they doing? Sometimes the girls are brushing their hair in the bathroom. And we have to go chase them down.
Awesome. Let's move forward. Sight Reading Factory is something new that I would suggest for some of those primo kids and the advanced ensemble kids that you think about this. It's going to be an extra cost for your kids because it's not cheap. It is if you're just one singer, but to get something for the entire group, if they're not going to use it, that worries me a little bit. So what I'd like is, if you would like for your child to have access to a Sight Reading Factory account, I want for you to see me, $7, and we'll get that set up. Here's what Sight Reading Factory does. It allows for them to go either online or go onto an app. It will play the notes for them as they are learning. It can be set up to put the solfege up underneath. You can generate sight reading example after sight reading example after sight reading example. If I send out, like with my high school kids, I will send out an assignment and it's a sight reading test. They're at home, they can record themselves singing it and send it to me. And then I can evaluate them or give them some tips on what to do, but they don't have to do it in front of a huge group of people. Sight reading is the thing that scares musicians the most. It is the most terrifying thing to do. And I try to make it as painless as possible, but that is like, you just can't, it's just scary. So with Sight Reading Factory, there's 7 levels that they can pick from. They can say, I only want it to do a span of a second or a major third or whatever. If your child is serious about learning how to sight read and wants that help, this is the best $7 that you will ever spend. It gives them access to it for the entire year. They can use it every day if they want to. It is, I cannot tell you, I cannot sing praises for this company enough. It is spectacular. So breaking news, super, super exciting. As of today, I signed a lease for our very own property. Are you so excited? Yes. So I was like so excited and then almost threw up on my shoes, but was really excited. It's like buying your house, your very first house. So I had no idea that we would be able to get to this point at this point. We were going into our 4th. I had a 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9-year plan. And nowhere in that 9-year plan was I thinking that we would be at the point where we needed our own space. But we are. And so I'm going to kind of show you our new digs. It is 118 North Bel Air Road, Suite 3. And that is right there at Columbia Road and North Bel Air. Now let me tell y'all, I stalked this property all summer long. I was there at 4:30 in the afternoon. I was there at 5:30 in the afternoon. I was there at 6 in the afternoon. I tried coming from this way. I tried coming from that way. There is no way that y'all are gonna have a problem getting in or out because I made sure that we were not gonna have issues with this. There's like 5 or 6 different ways of getting in. And the same thing getting out. If you know where the Gary's and the Papa John's, and it's back behind there. So if you turned into Papa John's, you're looking at our space, all right? So it's this one on the end where they've blocked out, but it's this one right here. So I'm gonna take you on a tiny little tour and tell you a little bit about what's going on with it. What you're gonna see when you come to our new space is that our business office is going to be there. All the things that you need, all the paper you need, anything that you need is no longer gonna be schlepped back and forth in a rolling tote. It is all gonna be right there. And we have our rehearsal sites. On top of that, I also have 2 studio rooms for private instruction. That means that if you know of people who are not interested, when I first started teaching private lessons, I was like, sure, come to my house. And then after a few years of teaching, I kind of was like, I've got babies, that's probably not a good idea for you. So to have a space that you know that you can go to that is set up to teach private lessons, trumpet, saxophone, piano. I'm in talks with Turner Keyboards. They're looking for an outpost for piano that's in Columbia County, so that way you can get the Turner experience without having to drive all the way downtown to get it. So there's that. If there are folks that you know of that want an access to a studio, I want for this to be a fine arts hub in Columbia County. There's a very large rehearsal space that is perfect for staging. It's perfect for dance. It's perfect for large groups. And I also have a smaller open classroom that's going to be great for our smaller classes. And it is going to allow for VOCE's continued growth and the addition of new classes. What I'm hoping for in the future is when the advanced ensemble hits 60, we're going to split. And so we'll have 2 different days. And you can pick. It'll be the same music. It'll be the same lessons. It'll be the same experience. But I'll be able to do 2 different days of it. So that way the groups are smaller. And if Tuesday doesn't work for you, maybe this day does. That'll also hopefully offer me the opportunity to bring in an associate who I desperately would love to come and work with this organization, so that way we can work together on our younger groups as well as the older one, and we'll have another director in there. So there's a lot of really good that can come from this. So here's the location. So when you walk in, I had to squish the thing. So you walk in the door, here's the main large classroom. This is if you're walking in looking that way. Here's one office. That's going to be that's our main one. There's another rehearsal room, good storage closet, and another pretty big rehearsal room. Here's a restroom. I think I already did the storage closet. When you walk through this door, here's our big warehouse. Now it's getting right now they're installing an HVAC because it did not have air conditioning. So what's happening today is they're putting an air conditioning unit in here so that way it's heated in air. But there's one view, and then when you walk in the door, it's pretty wide as well. You saw these stairs that go up to an open level area. I wouldn't necessarily be planning on teaching any classes up there, mostly because there's like some air duct stuff, but it's a great place for us to put our costumes, for us to have our music library, for all of that kind of extra things that are going up there. So that's this big open space here. So it won't be someplace that your kids are going to be hanging out, but it gives us an awful lot of excellent storage. So my estimated start time for that, they said that I can take possession of it as soon as I gave them the check, which was this morning. So I know, so I'm like, let's go. What we need to do is get some chairs, and we need to get a few things and get that ready. So my hope and prayer is that everything is working out to where, I think I wrote it down on my calendar, that not the Labor Day weekend, but the weekend right after that, not the 4th, but maybe the 10th and the 11th is when we will no longer have rehearsals here. We will have them at our own space, all right? So all of that, all of your things will be there ready to go, and that'll be hopefully spectacular. You will definitely get class tag information on that and emails about all of that as well. So I tried to tell as many folks as I could talk to and go, I'm looking at a space, it may happen. So if you're worried about about getting there, it is so easy to get to. And if you are coming from afar, the interstate is right there as well, which was everything that I loved about this, is that it gave us access to the interstate and it was reachable to people from all the counties, which is what we wanted. So that is our big enormous news there. I have for you a tentative calendar, extreme close-up. I have a tentative calendar for the year, and this again will be put on class tag and will be published. The way that I put it together is you've got the month, and it includes fundraisers. It's letting you know when those are, when the due dates are, when all of that. So if you're somebody that needs to go home and put this immediately on your calendar, by all means do that. But you're going to get it through class tag as well. But this goes all the way through. There are some times things that are TBD, but there are events that happen in the spring or even in November that the organizations that ask us to come and perform have not figured out their staging schedule yet. So we know that we'll do it. We just don't know exactly what the time is. My plan, my thoughts, for those of you that are new, I tell you what's on our calendar, and I don't surprise you with anything. If it's TBD, that's because the times I'm waiting on somebody else. But if we are invited to perform at something, oh shoot, there's one other thing that's not on here, I'll have to put it on. The advanced ensemble is almost the last 3 years has been asked to sing the national anthem at the Border Bowl in January. So that's not on there, but it will be. So if we are invited to something that is not on our calendar, I will poll the crowd and see if we can seat an ensemble. If we cannot, then we decline. If we have enough with the people that can go, then we'll perform. But nobody goes home with guilt about not participating in something that was not on the calendar. Yes? Nodding our heads. Yes. Okay. Because this struggle is real. I realize you guys have an awful lot on your plate, and performers do everything. So I want to make sure that you know what you got going on here. All right? I have lists of, if you are interested in what our fundraisers are, I've got our program ad sales. For every $100 that you bring in, $10 of that is going directly into your account. It's not this one is the big one that helps us kind of keep the lights on, so that's an awesome one. But it's free money. If you've got businesses, please talk with them for program ads, for business partnerships, for all of the things that we do. Their logos will be on our t-shirts and that kind of stuff. There is a deadline because we do have a printing situation with that. We will be selling Sanderlin's pansies in the fall. I call them the poinsettias that ate your house. At Christmas, they're enormous. They're like trees. We will be having a princess tea, since we're doing all this Disney themed stuff. We've got an adult event and a children's event. So we'll do a princess tea. I'm talking with the singing princesses to come and help do that. And we will also be having an Epcot in Evans. So that will be the adults, where it's sort of like food and beverages from around the world with different entertainment and all of that. So that's the adult entertainment versus the children's entertainment, but fundraising by selling tickets. Java Joe's, coffee, fudge, and cookies. And we are early. It's much more early this year, so we aren't going to run into the issues we ran into last year. Masters sheet sales, so that way, you're ready for that. Spring plants from Sanderlin's. And then Wendy did a fantastic job with a self-defense class that I think all of your children should take. But we're looking at doing that again. So there's lots of fundraising opportunities. And I've talked and kept you for 14 minutes longer than I had hoped to, and I'm really, really sorry. But here is the calendar. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to either ask me right now while I'm not teaching a child, or come and find Wendy. Go ahead, give me one.
Do you have a letter that we could take?
I do. It is, if you print that, when you go on the documents that are on class tag, there's a letter, there's all of the fancy schmancy that they're going to want. Everything that, from the costs of doing our honor choir to everything. Yep, absolutely. Yep, those are on there. Awesome sauce. Any other questions I can hit real fast? Your kids already sound amazing. I'm so excited for what we're going to do this year. I really am.
Real quick, I know we've spit a lot out after tonight. And I can't even talk. A reminder of the two things Lori said, come see me, meaning her. If you need to have information corrected on class tag or anywhere else, please do not come see her. There is a piece of paper on the table out front. Please write down your information. It's a piece of notebook paper. Take up as much space as you need. The other thing is, if you are interested in the sight reading factory, do not come see her. Her brain will explode. There is also another piece of paper out there.
Know thyself.
And then, just if you need anything corrected, anything that you need from Lori, try to start coming to me and make sure that I put it on a notebook paper and come and write everything down that you need, because most of it I can probably take care of for her. But like she said, if not, I will consult with her and we'll move on from there. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what the class tag code is?
I have signed you up. So you won't need, that was the issue we had with balloons last year. What I have done is taken everyone that has registered. If we have your paperwork and you have registered, I have entered your child and your email that was provided. Yours was one of the ones that said it had a problem. So come and find me. Yeah, come see me.
You must find
You must see me, because I remember I was like, I wonder why this is weird. What did I do? So I signed all of you up. So you should have gotten an email this morning. It was in spam. Check spam. Class tag.
Some people got other children.
Yeah, and I fixed that one too. Some of you were like, it's making me claim this kid that's not mine. I imported it from a spreadsheet, and then the spreadsheet was crazy, so I went, darn it, I'm just going to do it the long way. So I did it the long way instead. And so all of you own your own children now.
Yeah, and on that, with class tag, that hasn't been administrator privileges passed over to me. That's why I said you just write down anything like that that might be off. Then we can put our heads together and figure out who needs to fix it. But then I've got it in one space, so we're not doing like multiple notes and chasing squirrels.
I was kind of all the different teachery things that come at you, and I've experienced them as a parent and experienced them as a teacher. And this one, I spent all summer looking for what I needed for y'all, so that way it didn't make you nutso. And now I'm making you nutso. Here's the calendar. I'm gonna get by.
You can just do that.